What is up, guys, and welcome back to DeeterPlays. We've had this update here in Sepharite City, and I've finally taken the time now to get the right personality traits and get all of them up to level 40, get the UP stats that I want, and to get all the move sets that I wanted for all of these new Loomians. So I'm going to go over these ones, and I'm going to show you exactly what I've got, and we can kind of also discuss in the comments as well what your thoughts are on some of these guys. So let's just get started. As far as these new Loomians, we're going to talk about the Guardrone, the Tyrex, the Stratosaur, the Hunder, the Diborg, the Munchwheel, and the Garbantus, and also things that they're holding as far as items. So the first one we're going to talk about here is the Guardrone. So this one right here, if we look at the basic training, you can see right here, the ranged attack is quite a bit higher there than the melee attack. So definitely going to plan to have this one as a ranged attacker. So as far as the UP stats, I tried to make sure I rallied one that it doesn't really matter if the melee attack was low, because I'm not going to use any melee attack moves. I'm going to set it up all with ranged attacks. So I wanted to make the range attack go really high for the TP training up to 200, and also get the speed up to 200, because I always like to go for speed. I know there's some of these that are slower. I'm going to actually show you a little bit of a spreadsheet that I made that can show you a list and kind of help you with PvP. So we're going to show you that here at the end as well, but then I also added some health. You can add like some melee defense. Sometimes it doesn't hurt to have that, but health is kind of like a little bit overall defense for both. So as far as the moves that I went for, this one, in order to do the moves, it's not like you can rally in order to get the moves. You have to do upgrades inside of the pollute central area. So this one right here, you can see I've got Frost Beam, I've got Metal Blast, I've got Thunder Strike, and I've got Fire Breath. So there is some moves in here in the list of moves that you can get. There's this one called the Steel Crusher that you get as well. That is also a 90 strike. So if you really wanted to have a melee move, but I would recommend just kind of concentrate everything on your ranged moves, go for these four. You've got quite a diverse field here. You've got a metal, you've got an ice, you've got an electric, you've got a fire, and you can kind of hold on to something to make any of those stronger. I'm holding Fire Essence here because, like, in competitive, if you're holding too much metal, like any of these could hold Metal Essence because they've mostly got metal moves, but if you wanted to make those moves stronger, metal would be the way to go. But you can also hold ice or electric, and sometimes if people are putting out a bunch of metals, sometimes these ice, electric, and fire can be strong against those ones. So this one's kind of a nice little diversified one over here. So that is the Guardrone. That's the moves that I've gone for the Guardrone. Next is the Tyrex over here. So this one you could see in the training, kind of the opposite. Its attack, its melee attack is super high, and its range attack is pretty low. So we're going to concentrate this one as a melee attacker. So as a melee attacker, I go for brawny, very clumsy, and nimble. Let's see exactly the personality traits I went with this Guardrone. Very frail, smart, and nimble. So nimble makes it faster. Smart makes the long range really good. Very frail means the melee is not very strong, but it doesn't really matter because we're not practicing melee hits with this guy as well. So I like to go very clumsy on this one because that makes the range ones not such a big deal. Brawny makes the melee strong. Nimble makes it a little faster. Now this one, you can see its speed is 74. It's pretty low. You don't have to concentrate on speed. If you wanted to do some TP training to make some of the defense a little higher, that's up to you. I like to go as much speed as I can in PvP because sometimes it really does matter. So I go 200 TP on the attack, 200 on speed, and I diversified the melee defense and the health because there's a lot of melee movers, so it seems like more typical that you're going to get hit with a melee hit. But if you wanted to just do 100 health, that would probably help for you as well. Now, as far as the moves here, some of you guys may agree, some of you guys may disagree on some of these ones. One I went for is Complete Demolition. Now this one, when you use it, you'll be too exhausted to move on the next turn. So it is kind of a risk. If you want to use it, you better hope it's going to like knock them out. I've noticed in some battles it's not as strong as I expected. But again, another one that we've got here is Earthquake. That's one you have to rally. Body Slam is another good one. It's a really strong, just a typeless move. Now here, Heavy Bash. I wanted that so I had another really good like metal move, but it didn't have to be one that was necessarily going to make me have to sit out the next turn. Now, some people may disagree with this one. Some people may want to choose to get Scapegoat so they can throw Scapegoat out there, or even Power Focus so that you can make your moves a little bit stronger. So you may go for a support move or Scapegoat over here as well. That's some other options for you. Now, as far as what it's holding, this one's holding Earth Essence right now. I'm thinking I might switch over to Metal Essence just to make complete demolition like that much stronger. So that's probably what I'm going to go for right now, you know, having Earthquake. It's nice to have a good strong Earth move, but that complete demolition could be a lot stronger for what it is. So that is what I went for my Tyrex. Now moving on to the Stratosaur over here. Let's see, the Stratosaur is a ranged one. So I went very frail, smart, and nimble, because if you look over here in the training, you can see that its attack is quite a bit higher. It's at 105 with the range attack, and really low on the melee, like 34. So that is really low. So I did the UP. I tried to rally to get UP stats. Didn't really care about the melee so much. Made sure I did TP training on the range attack. And on the speed, again, it's not super fast, but it's not super slow, so it's probably worthwhile to have some pretty good speed. And then I kind of split the melee defense with the health as well, as far as what I had left over for the 100. Now, again, if you guys want to split these up differently, go, you know, 150, 150. It's up to you. I think, you know, usually, you can see I usually try to go for either melee or range, and I get that up to 200, and I also get speed up to 200, and then I kind of split whatever I have left between health or some sort of defense. So as far as the moves, you can see I'm holding an air essence right here. So in the battle right here, I've got a couple different moves. Again, some of you guys may agree or may disagree with some of these ones that I've chosen. Reflection Burst. Now this one, if you've been hit by an opponent in this move turn, then the strength is doubled. So this one can actually be pretty strong if you use it at the right time. But again, having two metals that are kind of close, like Metal Blast is pretty strong as well. And you could probably just use Metal Blast or Reflection Burst, or not even have one or the other or both. But you may want to replace Reflection Burst with something else. That is up to you. There's some pretty decent different ones. You have to rally to get the Metal Blast. You may want to have dodge on this one as well. You know, this might be a useful one to actually teach dodge to. Airblade is the strongest air move that I've got, and this is basically metal and air, so it's got some pretty strong ones. But this is what I've gone with. Perch is another one that you can rally. This one, you can use it to restore some of your health, which is very, very helpful. But I went for all ranged moves. I wouldn't go with any of the melee moves. You could get Heavy Bash if you wanted to. Like this one, if you look at the training, you can see it is range attack mostly, so I would just go with all these range moves, and I wouldn't worry about Cyclone Slam or Metal Bash really myself. So so that's those moves for this guy, and that is what the Stratosaur is set up with. So looking at my other Loomians here, Hunter. I've got the 100. It's a metal and electric. I've got it holding electric essence, but again, it's one that you could probably give metal essence. Of course, there's other things that you can hold, power cuffs, and you could use heavy armor. That kind of stuff can help you as well. If we look at the stats right here, the melee attacks a lot higher, and it's got some pretty good speed, so you definitely want to get that going. So I tried to train it to be a melee attacker. I went full TP on the melee attack, went full TP on the speed, and then again a little range defense mixed with some health in order to keep it a little bit stronger against some of the ranged hitters that are going to come up against it. But the moves that I taught to this guy right here, the Hunter, are Mega Chomp, Rough Up, Heavy Bash, and Thunder Chomp. So these, it can actually move learn quite a few other chomp based moves. So if you guys wanted to rally like Chili Chomp over here or Blaze Chomp, and you wanted to have a fire type, you can do that. But this is also a it's an electric type as well, so that's why I just think that, you know, Thunder Chomp is a little bit more useful because it'll be a little bit more powerful, and also with an electric essence that makes it quite a bit more powerful as well. Rough Up is a very good move. That one's useful. Mega Chomp, we got a dark move, we got a metal move, so this one's got different types, lots of different types that you can go for. As far as getting the secret abilities, if you guys want to take the time to try to rally some of your secret abilities, that's up to you. But like certain things, I think some of their main abilities are even better than their secret abilities that they can get. But this is the move set that I've gone for on this one, and that is the training that I've gone for on this one as well. The Hunter can be pretty useful in battle. So this next one over here, the Diborg, it's part toxic, part metal. I've given it toxic essence. You can see if it's got a secondary type, I've tend to give the essence that corresponds with that secondary type. This one is also a melee hitter, so it's brawny, very clumsy and nimble, just like that Hunter as well. So you can see I'm either going very frail, smart, and nimble for the ranged attackers, or brawny, very nimble, or very brawny, very clumsy, and nimble for any of the close melee attackers. Now this one right here, you could make it a ranged attacker instead. So this one's pretty diverse, because it's got 92 for the melee attack, just a little bit higher than the 88 for the ranged attack. So I usually like it when it's kind of either one or the other, but sometimes every now and then we've got some of these like the Loomian that you can make it either a melee attacker or a ranged attacker. So this is what I've gone for, the melee, but there's some ranged moves you can go for, and you can actually split it up and you can be ranged attacker instead. But because of that, I've got my stats basically there on the melee and on the speed, and then again we've got defense and health split up for that. Now as far as the moves that I've got for this one, I am using heavy bash, paint shower, hop kick, and this graffiti actually I'm going to switch out because I don't think I need this one, because this was actually I really didn't do much as far as training for this one. It's got some decent attack UP stats, but you can go all 40 and you can kind of split it up. You can have like 150 here and 150 here, and you can make it kind of both, because graffiti is a good move and it's pretty strong there, but I'm actually probably going to split this one up for some other stuff. So the heavy bash here is obviously pretty strong. As far as what I'm holding, it's toxic, so right now it is going to make that graffiti a little bit stronger, and my paint shower stronger. The paint shower can hit them for 5 turns slowly. Hop kick is the strongest like brawler move, looks like, that you can get for prior evolutions. Heavy bash, that's also one that I believe you learn through your evolutions as well. But now as far as other melee moves, it doesn't have like a really strong, like higher striking melee move that you can get there. You can get poison. Poison's a pretty good one. Also, hypnotize is a decent mind one that you can use. You can also throw dodge in there, but it's got some other things. It's got like melee, it's got punch, it's got bash, but they're not super strong, and you've already got this brawler hop kick move to use that one. So you can try to use graffiti and kind of diversify it, make it ranged and melee, but then you can also add some of those support moves like dodge, or you can use poison or something on there as well. But yeah, this one again can be very diverse there with the die board. Moving on here to the next one, the munch wheel. Right now this one, as far as looking at the training, is higher on the melee attack than it is on the range attack. So again, we're going to make it a melee attacker, 200 there, 200 for the speed. We're going to go 60 on the defense, and we're going to go about 40 on the health. It is holding a metal essence. So this is the one that I've got now, holding the metal essence. So its heavy bash is quite a bit stronger. It's also just a pure metal type, so it doesn't have a secondary type that would be helpful for that anyways. Now we've also got here Mega Chomp, which is a pretty good one to use. Quick Punch. Now it's a brawler move. It's only 40 strike, but sometimes it's really nice in a battle to have a quick move, kind of like Shadow Sprint. It will hit pretty hard, like a decent amount, not super hard, but it would be enough to do some damage, and it would also probably tend to go first as well. But there's several other moves that this one can learn. Like it can learn Blaze Chomp here. It can learn Chili Chomp. It can learn Thunder Chomp. So some people may want to choose to get Thunder Chomp or Chili Chomp here instead of Quick Punch, but sometimes in PvP battles, sometimes it's just really nice to have a Quick Punch. So that's what I've got: Mega Chomp, Blaze Chomp, Quick Punch, and Heavy Bash. Now again, some people might want to switch those up with a Thunder Chomp or a Chili Chomp, those moves that you can rally, or even throw some other things on here. There's double whack, which isn't that strong, but there's dodge, and there's other moves that you can teach them as well. So that is what I went for the munch wheel. And over here we've got the Garbantus, last but not least. Well, we're going to talk about the Protogun here for a minute, but this one also a melee hitter. Brawny, very clumsy, nimble is what I've gone for there. So again, I've trained on the melee attack and on the speed, and quite a bit on the range defense, and a little bit there on the health, basically splitting those up. And as far as what I'm holding, it's the bug essence. Like I said, I usually like to hold the secondary type essence to help it out. And for the moves I went for, this doesn't have like the strongest move sets that you can actually get, but it's got some pretty decent ones. Like here, Parasitize is pretty strong. It's a good bug move. If you're holding the bug, it leeches away the target's health, and it also restores some of the health to you. So it's always nice when you can hit the other person and also restore some health to you in the meantime. You can also use Clay Slap here. You can use by move manual. You can also add the Mud Splatter. That one's fairly similar to this one. You can also rally and get poison instead. But right here we've got this one right here. So bite the foe, and it may cause them to flinch or infect them with a toxicant that will get more potent over time. So Venom Chomp, if you can hit them, and if you can poison them, that's even better. Molt is a pretty good support move that you've got. It basically shed a layer of skin to increase your speed. Now, if we look at its basic speed already is 104, so that makes it quite a bit faster, and it might go before a lot of other things. There's not a lot of other stronger moves. You can use Headbutt if you really want a typeless move, and that one's just as strong as like the Clay Slap, but the Clay Slap is good because it also lowers their speed. So if you use the Molt and a Clay Slap, you are definitely going to slow down whatever you're going up against, and if you can kind of parasitize them and poison them with a Venom Chop, that's pretty useful as well. So this is what I've gone for as far as my movesets for Garbantus. Okay, now we're going to take just a moment here to look at this Protogun. I have not trained my Protogun, and I've not given him all the moves, because what I ended up with, I caught a Protogun and it's only dull in its personality, which is horrible. If you got Nimble, it's not bad because, I mean, it's pretty fast already as it is. So since this one's really fast, if you look at its speed, 121, it's the second fastest after the Gobademic right now. So if you want added speed and did the TP training on speed, this one's definitely going to go first. But we look at its range attack is 111 and its melee attack is 67. So this would be a ranged attacker, so we'd get 200 there. We'd try to use shards to get it up to 40 on all the other things that we can. But I'm going to have to go and search for a new one of this one that I can use for training, because I'm not going to train this one that's just one negative personality trait. But as far as the different moves, I have not given it all the moves that it can. But what I would recommend for this guy, like as it evolves, Metal Blast is a really good one. Right now you can see it doesn't really have any of these. It's only level 25, but I would get Metal Blast is a good one. Energy Surge is a good ranged move that you can get, and that one's worth 70. Ancient Instinct is a pretty good support move. You can also add Dodge, which is a good support move. Through the rallying, or basically through the moved tutor thing, you can learn Tail Slap and Batch, but those are melee moves, and I wouldn't train this one for melee. So I would go for like the Energy Surge, Ancient Instinct, Metal Blast, and probably Dodge. But if you wanted to do something like Dart Burst or something, you really could, and this one may leave them dazed, and you might actually hit them 3 times with that one. So that one's kind of up to you, and whatever you want to hold, it's a metal type, so Metal Essence would kind of make sense. But as far as the different moves that you pick, it looks like there's some pretty decent light moves that you can pick as well. So that is it for the new Loomians and what I would train on. Now, just another quick thing, another quick little helpful tip I want to tell you guys about. I have created this table. Now, the evolution guide and the training guide, those are pretty useful if you're doing the training stuff, but the PvP guide and PvP base stats by speed are very helpful, because the PvP guide right up here, you can see any certain Loomian over here, you can see what type it is, and you can see what it's strong against and what it's weak against. So if somebody else goes in here during battle and they put out a Swolder, you're like, okay, well, I got a plant type and it's really strong against plant type. I want to get out of there. And if I can, I'd like to add an ice, air, or mind type to the battle, because I'm going to be a lot stronger against them. So this is going to be a little helpful one for you. I've updated it, and I've got all of these new Loomians in here, so it shows you what they're strong against and things that they're weak against. So if people are starting to play with these new ones a whole lot, then if it's pretty good to have some fire, electric, earth, brawler, even some water. They seem to be doing pretty strong against some of these new Loomians. And then over here, if you look at the PvP base stats by speed, you can see I've arranged them by speed, the Gobdemic, Protogun, Zulong, Hunter, and it'll show you from the top to the bottom which ones will generally outspeed the other. So generally, if you're in a battle and you have a Dusket and the other person throws out an Eliguana, you're probably going to go first. Now, if you've got an Vesperatu and they throw out a Zulong, their Zulong's probably going to go first. So guys, I've got the link to this spreadsheet in the description of this video. Go check it out. If there's anything you'd like me to add to this spreadsheet overall, just let me know. And guys, if you're new here, would love to have you subscribe and hit that notification bell. And thank you so much for watching. We'll talk to you guys later.